Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. You see the smile on my face. I'm just happy today didn't start like yesterday started. And speaking of, hello, everybody in the chat. Eric, David, Brad Betts, Mitch is in here, Gus, Mark Thomas, Brian Smith, Steve is in here. Let's take a look at the recap screen, see how we did yesterday. And I do have to note how we did the day before, too, because remember, the show started in an unorthodox way yesterday. We didn't actually get to the Monday's recap screen, which unfortunately was 2-4, one of our few losing days over the last few weeks. But yesterday, the Tuesday recap right here, 5-2. We love to see that. Mikey B, 2 for 2, buckets, 2 out of 3. The SportsLine pick hits. And Tom Casale, who almost always hits his college basketball plays, that one doesn't come through. But again, 5-2, we will take that every single time. And we're going to try to replicate it today with the stars of the show. We got a good crew today on a Wednesday. We've got Martin Green. We've got Zack Cimini. We've got, well, I'm not sure who that is. I think it's Alex Selesnick, a.k.a. Little Geppetto, a.k.a. PropStarz, but I'm not sure. Sir, are you PropStarz?
I am live in the flesh, gentlemen. As you can see, new hairdo, new look, new PropStarz, but it's me. I'm here. I felt it was time for a change. We've got my Eagles playing in the NFC Championship game, so excited about that, and I'm ready to start rolling in the NBA here.
I love to see the comments. OMG Proppy says Brad Betts footy. Jeff Stewart says, love the haircut, Proppy. And what in the PropStar, says CLE fan. You look, the truth is, PropStarz, and I'm not asking you to give your age. I don't actually, but you look 10 years younger than I thought you were. But you looked great then too. The whole Aquaman vibe was awesome. But now you look like a teenager. So I think you look great. You belong in a boy. You shave that beard and you'll be in a boy band for sure.
I'm auditioning for some soon. So yeah, send the goodwill my way.
All right, Martin Green, how you doing today? There's a lot of people in the chat very excited about soccer today. Brad Betts footy among them. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks, Sia. Yeah, myself and Buckets hosted one of the expert Discord chat thingies yesterday, and we gave out lots of winning plays, so very happy about that. And Buckets actually gave out a winning live bet halfway through the chat, and it cashed within about 5 minutes. So we were very happy about that and hoping to keep the run going. I must admit, I'm a bit concerned about the upcoming NFL game because your Commanders just keep beating the Eagles, and I don't like it. And I think that trend needs to be reversed sooner or later. But soccer's going good.
CLE fan says, loving the vibes today. It's going to be a great day. Zach, I saw you smile. I certainly smiled when Martin Green said he was actually worried about my Commanders in the NFC Championship game. And for the record, I just like saying that out loud, like whether I think they're going to win or not. The fact that the Commanders and NFC Championship belong in the same sentence in 2025 is pretty cool. Maurice Jackson says, Commanders win now that Proppy cut his hair. I don't know. We'll have to wait and find out. Zach, do you have an opinion on this Washington-Philadelphia game, whether it's from a win or, the spread around 6 points here? Your thoughts on this one?
Right now, I think just the total maybe going under the 47.5 because you're seeing the Philadelphia Eagles change their offense, really scaling it back as far in terms of passing. In both games in the regular season, Washington didn't really get going until the fourth quarter. 10 points the first game through three quarters, the second game 14 points through three quarters before Jaden Daniels went off with, I think, 22 points in the fourth quarter. So I think it's going to be an under game, and we'll see how the conditions are as well. That might change my opinion if it's going to be cold or extremely cold, windy, whatever it may be in Philadelphia.
PropStarz, go ahead.
I'm going to toot my own horn here only because I didn't think there were many people who shared this sentiment preseason. But I talked about Washington being the second best team in the NFC East, how I thought they would be competitive this year, how I thought they would potentially be better than Dallas and fight for the playoffs, which I was proven right. But I have to say, as bullish as I am on Washington long-term, Jaden Daniels, I think, is going to be a top 5 MVP candidate for the next 8 to 10 years. I do think it's a tough spot against Vic Fangio 3 times in one season facing a rookie mobile quarterback. I just think this is a tough spot for Washington. So while I like the Rams and the points last week, I do think the Eagles roll this week.
We'll get to some official picks in a second. Gipper's pick says it's supposed to be around 40 in Philly, which actually is probably kind of good for both teams here. I don't want to see weather either way, especially with the rushing attack that Philly has. But I will say that I think the Commanders can beat anybody. I mean, I think they've kind of proven that. With that said, I don't know that they can beat Philly consistently. Like, I don't think they can beat them if Jalen Hurts is operating at 100%. Good news for Washington fans. I don't know that he's going to be operating at 100%. This is going to be such an interesting game. Eric David says, Council, I grabbed Diami over 39.5 receiving yards, running it back. Does that have your endorsement? PropStarz, go ahead.
One thing I just wanted to hit on real quickly, Saquon Barkley set the single game record for the highest rushing total in prop betting history at 132.5 yards. It reached yesterday. It's been bet down to 126, 127, depending on the book. But this line got up to 132.5 yards. That was higher than any running back in NFL history, according to MGM.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that, PropStarz. I saw that line yesterday, and I was like, I can't think of a running back that had a prop number higher than that. And you just basically you told me what I needed to hear there, because that is the record. At least at 132 was the record. As far as the Diami Brown one, listen, we hit that at 29.5. We've hit Diami Brown, I think, a couple of times. I think 39.5 is still a good number. In fact, I think that's gone up since Eric, you grabbed the 39.5. I think it might be in the low 40s. Olamide Zaccheaus has been sort of relegated to more, I think, of a kind of a blocking wide receiver. He did sustain a groin injury in the last game a little bit too. So I think Diami Brown is that dude. Obviously, the Philly defense is very legit in all phases, including that back end. But yeah, I like Diami over 39.5 receiving yards. All right, let's get to some official picks, and maybe we'll get back to football. And I do want to say, Eric David says, awesome Discord chat yesterday. Hit my moneyline parlay at plus 210. That Martin endorsed. Thankful PSV hung on. Speaking of Discord, I put my first round leaders and my outrights in the Golf Channel Discord yesterday. I also tweeted them out. So there's a lot of channels where we'll discuss a couple of those today, but there's a lot of channels where you could find those picks. All right, let's get to an official NBA pick. Zach, we start with you.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Timberwolves minus 2.5. They're favored on the road against the Dallas Mavericks. And these are two teams that are struggling with injuries right now. Minnesota, they've had a few games to readjust with Dante DiVincenzo being out. You're seeing rookie Rob Dillingham get some extra minutes off the bench, and he's producing. He's averaging 12 points over his last 3 games. And when you look at NBA matchups on a nightly basis, there's not too many rivalries, but we know there's bad blood between these two teams going back to the Western Conference Finals last year, where the Dallas Mavericks won 4 out of 5 games, and the Timberwolves got a little bit of revenge. We saw recently on Christmas Day where they went into Dallas, won 105-99. This Dallas Mavericks team is just reeling right now. Injuries have taken their toll. Even with Kyrie Irving giving it his all in the last matchup against the Charlotte Hornets, 33 points, 14 points in the fourth quarter. They were not able to get the win. They've lost 4 out of their last 5 games, 3-9 in their last 12. I'll tell the Timberwolves on the road minus the 2.5.
All right, we're tailing the Timberwolves minus 2.5 on the road. And Martin Green, you know, it's funny. We were doing the beginning of the show there in the first few minutes. I could have sworn that something happened in soccer to prompt you to like put your hand on your head or something. Did I read that wrong? Was like there a goal scored or a penalty drawn in a soccer match?
Oh no, that was just my reaction to the health issues that Jalen Hurts seems to be having. Just not potentially being 100% healthy. No, there's no major soccer going on at the moment, unfortunately.
All right, well, there is some major soccer, at least for our purposes, going on later today. You've got 2 plays for the pitch.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I am starting with a blockbuster game between Paris Saint-Germain and Manchester City, which takes place in the French capital. Man City have looked back to their brilliant best recently. They thrashed Ipswich 6-0 at the weekend. Pep Guardiola's men have picked up 4 wins and a draw from their last 5 games, which is impressive when you think of how badly they were performing in November and December. They've only won 2 out of 6 Champions League games so far this season, though. Their chances of reaching the knockout stage of the competition are in jeopardy, hanging in the balance. They desperately need a win today, and they could get the better of this inexperienced PSG team in Paris. Been a similarly disappointing campaign for PSG. They've gone backwards since Kylian Mbappe left the club in the summer. They're currently 26th in the table. They're on course to be eliminated early. They've already lost to Bayern Munich, Arsenal, and Atletico Madrid. They could struggle against the revitalised Manchester City. So I've gone Man City draw no bet at +110. All they need to do is avoid defeat there. I'm also looking at a little money line parlay featuring Inter Milan and Bayern Munich. Inter are currently 7th in the table. They're on course to secure automatic qualification for the next round. They have some talented teams breathing down their necks, though, so they do need to win this game, and I think they should be able to beat Sparta Prague on the road. Bayern Munich are currently outside the automatic qualification places, but a win today would see them climb up the table. And it's not going to be easy to win in the Netherlands, but I think they should ultimately outclass Feyenoord. So you stick those two teams together at -120. Looks like a great set of odds to me.
I'm great picks, by the way, Martin. I'm looking at the chat right now. There's some good stuff in here. Martin, this is for you. Joe says, I bet Martin Green has never been yelled at. He's just got too nice of a voice. Your comments. Have you ever been yelled at, sir?
Oh, yeah. Been yelled at lots of times mainly by rival soccer fans.
That actually makes sense. Let's see. This one's for PropStarz. From It's Adam. He says, yo, I just tuned in and I thought Ed Sheeran was on the show. PropStarz, you got me. That's a good one. PropStarz, you've had a music career. Are you Ed Sheeran? Have either of you?
I am not, but I have heard Ed Sheeran before. So, yeah, not the first time. Probably won't be the last time either. I prefer to, I'm a little more aggressive in the music department than Ed Sheeran.
I'm still waiting for a Lil Geppetto track. If you are a longtime Early Edge fan, you know that PropStarz had I think what had to have been a prosperous rap career, and he decided to go the capper route instead of continuing that career. So we're still waiting on that track. I bet you it's some pretty good stuff. All right, let's look at a couple of SportsLine picks here. One is from Larry Hartstein, the Maestro. You can find this again on SportsLine, on the SportsLine app. It's James Cook over 53.5 rushing yards at -118. Right before the show, I actually read Larry's analysis here on SportsLine. Go check that out because it's really strong as it relates to James Cook and his ability to run against Kansas City specifically. And then we're going to college basketball from Bruce Marshall, Nevada, +6.5 at -115. These are two SportsLine picks. James Cook over 53.5 rushing yards. That's one of a lot of NFL picks on SportsLine, by the way, folks. And Nevada +6.5 tonight. All right, we read a different BetMGM promotion yesterday about that $750,000 jackpot, which is now, I guess, down to $500K. You answer those three questions. This is a different one. It's one we read last week, and it's still in play. Bet on a player to find the end zone and win a share of $250,000 in bonus bets if they end up scoring the longest touchdown of the week. A touchdown is always 6 points, but the longest one could mean you get $250,000 in bonus bets. Wager on any player to score during a game. If your pick has the longest touchdown of the week, you'll win big-time bonus bets on top of your wager. Here's how it works. Opt in to the longest touchdown jackpot promotion. Place a $10 plus anytime touchdown wager up to one eligible bet per game. If your player scores the longest touchdown of the week, you'll win a share of $250,000 in bonus bets. That sounds like good stuff. I'm already contemplating which kind of secondary receiver I might take as the longest touchdown. And maybe it is De'Ami Brown, Eric David. Let's get to some golf and let's get to some more NBA. We're going to do it right after this message from our partners. We are back on the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook. Born in Vegas. Who is it? It is second best, says only 82 likes. We have about 400 people watching. We have thousands that watch throughout the day or catch the podcast, but we got 400 of you watching right now. Let's get to 150 at least here. Here's a 3-ball. I had a couple of 3-balls I was contemplating for today. I got to be honest. So last week, I gave you 2 picks on Thursday. By the way, this tournament starts today. The Farmers starts today because they don't want to end their tournament on Sunday and compete with the championship game. So that's why you got to put this bet in kind of now within the next couple of hours here because the tournament starts in about an hour and a half. My 3-ball is Taylor Pendrith minus 125 over Andrew Putnam and Rafael Campos. If you recall, last week we had a lot of matchups. Day 1, day 2, we had 2 in each. This course is a little tricky for me. So I really want to gather some information on the North and South course. Not that it's a new course, but I really want to gather some information today. Maybe I'll come with a matchup in a 3-ball tomorrow, maybe a little bit more, but I only have one 3-ball because I'm just a little tentative kind of walking into this one. As I told you, my first round leaders, my outrights, tweeted them out, put them in the SportsLine Discord. One of those players for a first round leader and an outright was Taylor Pendrith. I like him in this 3-ball because frankly, he is much better than these two guys. These guys are both on the, I think, the North course, if memory serves. I'll go and check my notes, but Taylor Pendrith just playing much better golf than these other two guys. Rafael Campos actually at this tournament has played pretty well before. I think he missed the cut and he was a T20, I think, last year. Andrew Putnam, I don't believe has any experience on this course. Again, I'll double check my notes for that. But Pendrith is coming in. He's a great course fit. He's a scorer. I think he will. I think these guys are on the North course. I think he will be doing some scoring here, and he's just a better golfer. So I think even though it's a 3-ball, Taylor Pendrith minus 125 over Putnam and Rafael Campos is a good play. The other lean I had, I just want to put it out there. I'm looking at my notes. It was Ben Griffin plus 130 over Rico Hoey and Trey Mullinax. I really like Ben Griffin on the course that he's going to be on today. Rico Hoey's always a bit of a wild card. If you remember last week, we faded him, and then we had him as a second-round leader or a second-round lowest score. He's too much of a wild card for me to love that, but it is a lean at plus 130, Ben Griffin over Rico Hoey and Trey Mullinax. And again, first-round leaders, outrights, check out the SportsLine Discord. PropStarz, we go back to the NBA.
We do, Sia. And speaking of the SportsLine Discord, I will be there live today, 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific, doing an expert chat, touching on all things NBA, all things NFL championship weekend, and whatever else you want to chop it up with me about. I am more than game. So please join if you are a SportsLine member. The Discord is totally awesome. So I will see you guys there at 3:30 Eastern. But yeah, we're going to the hardwood today. I'm backing Darius Garland. Got this at 20.5 on the site. It's 21.5 presently. Still comfortable with it at that number. Darius Garland has been one of the unsung heroes for this Cavs team that holds the best record in the NBA. Just 6 losses this year. Evan Mobley has really ascended to one of the best two-way players in the league. But Darius Garland, from a consistency standpoint, has been one of the better point guards in the NBA, averaging career highs across the board, highly efficient, and he's been playing his best basketball recently. So I like this spot for him. He's averaging 23 points per game in the month of January, and also no Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley will be inactive tonight. That fills a pretty significant void as far as offense is concerned. Mobley averaging 18 points per game, shooting the ball very well. Without Mobley this season, Garland is averaging 25 points per game compared to just under 21 points per game. So a significant boost in the scoring and usage department without Mobley on the floor. Facing the Houston Rockets, who have played up-tempo basketball recently, I also project this to be a competitive game. There's additional injuries on Cleveland. Karis LeVert is questionable. He sat out the last game with a wrist injury. That could give a couple more minutes to Garland. But either way, I really like this spot and what projects to be a competitive game environment. So Darius Garland over 21.5 points. Also, I endorsed that James Cook prop. I like that quite a bit. Yeah. I bet that privately already. So that is one I've been giving a good look at that I like quite a bit. I also have an NFL pick out on the site already. And a final reminder, Discord, 3:30 today. I will be in there. Hope to see some of you guys in there.
2 things. I like the James Cook prop as well. I love watching Darius Garland play. This Cleveland Cavaliers team is really a fun watch. And I hate to say it, but you know, Cleveland doesn't get like the pop that like a Lakers or if you just swap jerseys and you put Cleveland in New York or LA or another big market, maybe, you know, Boston, for example, it would be a completely different team in terms of how we perceive them and how much we want to watch them. So we kind of have to change gears when it comes to stuff like that. I got to change gears where everybody commenting on the haircut property. I got to change gears, Zach, when it comes to, actually, I don't know if I have to change gears. Joe Neuenfeld says, and Joe lives in Las Vegas or near Las Vegas. Zach, you live in Las Vegas. I always do this. I always say Nevada instead of Nevada. And I understand that all Nevadians, if that's what you call it, say Nevada. I think you all say it wrong. I think it should be pronounced Nevada. Put me to bed with that take.
Man, it's the first time that someone's brought that up. But yeah, I always say Nevada. I've lived in New York and Arizona. Something I have to keep my eye on, but I'm a Nevada person when I pronounce it.
Yeah, I mean, I think you pronounce it correctly. I mean, everybody from Nevada says Nevada. It's the same thing with Gonzaga. I say Gonzaga instead of Gonzaga, and I think I'm pronouncing it correctly, and everybody else is doing it wrong. That's the ego on me. PropStarz, go ahead.
I think you're pronouncing it correctly, and there's a similar debate in Oregon, Oregon or Oregon. You often hear two sides of that coin as well. So that's another one hotly contested.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm with my take. I've been told this about saying Nevada wrong for pretty much my whole life, and I've just never changed it. And you know,
tomato.
Okay, fair enough. See, that means I should probably say, Mr. Big says you got it right, Sia. East Coast versus West Coast, says Mark Thomas. We've got a true Tupac Biggie situation on our hands with Nevada and Nevada. All right. This is just going to get completely off the rails. Martin, before we get to the recap screen, anything soccer-wise for you to comment or address?
No, there's a lot of questions about will Victor Gyökeres score against RB Leipzig. I'm not going for that as an official play, but it does look pretty attractive. He's very dangerous in front of goal, and RB Leipzig's defense is pretty leaky. So, yeah, that looks like a good option if you do want to bet on that game. But I wasn't convinced enough to bet on it myself. As I said, myself and Buckets went through loads of games for today and yesterday on that Discord chat. So if you want to get our take on more games, go and have a look at that, or head to the soccer page, because we'll be updating it throughout the afternoon as those games are unfolding.
Yeah, that's a good call. When these expert chats happen, they don't necessarily happen for games that are happening right then or later that day. They could be games in the NFL chat, for example, that go to Sunday. So some of that soccer stuff is still live. All right. You mentioned the word, Gus Dawson weighing in on Nevada versus Nevada. You mentioned the word attractive, Martin Green. And I think that's such a professional tease, because we need to go to the recap screen, because Ben, our producer, has really kind of dressed things up a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't hit the like button yet, oh my, look at Zack Cimini, look at PropStarz, look at Martin Green. Yeah, I'm up there too. My pick is Taylor Pendrith -125 over Andrew Putnam and Rafael Campos. There's some people in the chat. Shop your three balls. These three balls should be everywhere. If you can find a -115 everywhere or somewhere, more power to you. That is obviously the better number. Minnesota Timberwolves -2.5 from Zack Cimini. Darius Garland over 21.5 points, -110 from PropStarz. And Martin Green, Man City, draw no bet, +110. And moneyline parlay, Inter plus Bayern, -120. The SportsLine picks James Cook on Sunday, over 53.5 rushing yards at -118. That's Larry. Nevada. Who cares? +6.5. I don't care as long as this covers. Nevada +6.5, -115 from Bruce Marshall. Good stuff from the recap screen. Absolutely love to see it. Love to see all the positivity in the chat. We had a lot of positivity in the chat. We had a lot of picks. We had a lot of questions. Unfortunately, I don't think we got to every single question. We try to make this show, well under 25 minutes. So apologies for that, but we're always scanning the chat, trying to get to everything. Let's have a great Wednesday in golf, in soccer, in basketball, and in life. Let's have a positive day. Let's say hello to a stranger. Let's say thank you. Let's say please. And let's just throw a smile on our face. We got to do it right now, because it's cold everywhere and everybody's got that scowl on their face because it's very, very cold outside. And we gotta change the mentality and throw a smile on our face, and a please and a thank you and a hello. I am Sia Nejad, otherwise known as the Counselor of Cash. Of course, on behalf of me and Zack Cimini, Martin Green, PropStarz, and Ben on the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s, this has been the Early Edge, and we rest our case.